hear me now? Yay. Okay, good. I hear
Hey,
vibrations though.
well, you'll be see how many are listening to you now. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you? Oh my
Great, great.
goodness. Hi everyone. Oh, how fantastic. I just thank you so much for the interview today and welcome everybody. I'm excited to have an audience. How exciting. Last time we spoke, you asked us on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to meditate at 7:30, and everyone
Correct.
across the world was trying that. And I could feel like a tingling in my heart. People reported through commenting on YouTube that they also felt things. I
Hmm.
wanted to find out a little bit about what was the technique or what were you doing that
I knew you would ask me that question.
okay.
Between East Coast and West Coast, there's 3 hour difference.
Yeah.
Was I myself sitting here? No. I tell you what I did. Right after we got disconnected, I sat and meditated that whosoever sits tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and on Sunday at 7:30, wherever they are, they will receive this transmission.
Hmm.
And I transmitted before I went to sleep, right? And you guys received it in the morning. Have you heard about drugs, where you take it now and it gets released after 20 hours?
Yeah.
Exactly like that.
That's a time release capsule across the
Yes,
world.
it's a time release transmission. See? And
Interesting.
every preceptor can do this. Every trainer of this system are able to time time the transmission in such a way that the recipient benefits wherever they are and whenever they sit.
Hmm.
See, sometime in 1952 or 1953, one of the individuals in India, he was a seeker of spirituality, very pious person, but very skeptical. So when my master, then Babuji, he had circulated a letter that and he had sent him that please meditate at this time, I will be transmitting to you. So this man, who is a skeptic, he says, why should I tell him I'm going to sit at this time? I will sit whenever I can and whichever day I choose, right? So, and Babuji didn't know on his side that this person is playing game, but he was smarter. What he did, he finished his work, that whenever this pen sits, whichever day he likes, he'll receive my transmission.
Hmm.
So it is the what we call willing in the future that may such and such a thing happen. It's a I don't know. Have you heard the term in Sanskrit called sankalpa?
But I'm not sure exactly what it means.
Sankalpa means making a will for something to happen.
Hmm.
See, when I pray, let's see if you have a headache, and I pray that may CJ Lu, who is suffering with headache, go away. I mean, this headache should disappear,
Hmm.
and she should feel better. So
Hmm.
this is a prayerful suggestion
Hmm.
that may such and such thing happen. So like that, may such and may transmission flow at such and such a time, or whenever this person sits for meditation.
Hmm. Hmm. Or what is it that you're doing with your trainers that they were able to do the same work?
Well, then I'll have to explain to you in greater depth. We'll have to have a third interview then.
Okay.
It's not so simple to explain, um, but I'll have to give you some indirect example In simple term, I would say we elevate this person's consciousness to such an extent that there's a free flow of transmission from above, and this person becomes a medium kind of
Mm.
for the divine work.
Mhm.
Yeah? So his system is removed. I mean, his system is purified.
Mm.
Uh, Also, some spiritual work is done in such a way person reaches the higher level of chakra. You do understand chakra, right?
Mhm.
Plexuses or energy
Mhm.
chakras in the system, right? So we place them on a higher pedestal of evolution, spiritual evolution. So from that level, they will be able to work.
Mm.
Now, that also changes actually, from person to person, depending upon that person's will. The transmission can also make a different impact. For example, I'm going to make your subject even more complicated today. Say, let's say if I transmit from my heart, which is generally the case, instead of that, if I take up the higher plexus, like this, which is here, what we call carnivorous plexus, or go further and say I'm transmit from here as decay or sus welcome, or you still go further up and transmit from the highest. So when I will and transmit from a different level of consciousness, the impact will also be different.
Mm.
It is like when you throw a stone from the ground. If I drop a stone on my pen from here, nothing will happen. If I throw the same pen from the 50th floor of the building and hit a man, who knows, he might die.
Right.
I would say 99% of the time it is heart to the heart of the individual.
You said that.
From like when you sit and meditate, what do we do in meditation? As a recipient of transmission, I don't do much except be receptive and be more attentive towards the heart with an idea that divine presence is already there in my heart. It's not that I have to seek, it's already there. I need to feel its presence. That's all. That is the duty of the recipient, the seeker, the role of myself. The role of the master or role of the trainer or the preceptor is to transmit from the heart to the recipient's heart this divine flow. Divine flow does two jobs. You see, one thing is, you see, right now it's raining in India as we speak. When it rains, it removes the dirt. Many buildings which are never washed and cleaned, they get cleaned up. Trees and plants, their leaves are washed. They can breathe better. They can exchange better. That's the job of rain, right? It's one of the effect of rain. Besides all that, it also nourishes, provides a lot of moisture. So what happens during summertime if you visit tropical countries? During summertime, most trees, they are hardly kind of, surviving kind. The leaves are dropping, they are all dried up. Nevertheless, there is some form of life still sustained. Still something goes on because the root system absorbs the water from underground. But with the first rain, tree changes. It blossoms. Human beings also, with the help of our soul, we are thriving well. But when we get externally this transmission, pranahuti, like rain, it changes our lives once and for all. Now it depends on you how soon, how fast, how often you want that rain. Okay, so, and it's also in your hand as a recipient, as a seeker of spirituality. The switch is in our hands. Moment you sit and say, okay, let there be transmission, there will be transmission. The very idea that I like to meditate, that itself will trigger the flow of transmission. Okay? Many things are possible with which I think we have to wait for right moment to discuss all that. How to work uh, as a trainer, for example. It takes little time, little time. Transmission, you understand now, it's a divine flow, divine energy. It is an effulgence that moves from one heart to another heart. And it moves with intent. When a trainer makes an intent, when the recipient is willing to receive something, then this magic is possible. Trainer may want to send something, but the recipient is not ready, then it will not happen.
And what is the readiness that the recipient must be feeling or opening up to?
Just willingness that I would like to undergo the effect of this, willingness to experiment. Be a scientist, I say, be a scientist. Scientists may be very prejudiced at times. Scientists may be very inquisitive at times. Scientists can be very suspicious at times, which is completely fine as long as he's ready to experiment, even with doubts, even with suspicion. But once he conducts the experiment as a scientist and sees the results in front of his eyes, then he can say, yes, I believe this is so.
So,
Right?
so one of the people or your followers had written a comment in YouTube. You know, he was still having hardship in his life. There were still challenges in his life, and he was wondering how could this be so.
It takes time though for, let us see, there are many individuals with all kinds of problems. Through proper understanding, I can learn to accept. See, if I try to change my situation overnight because of, let us say, as you say, the magic, God does some magic on me and changes. And then what do you learn? I made a mistake in my life, and yet I'm fine. God is there to do, perform some miracles and change me and make me feel better. Would you emerge as a better person? I doubt it. Because you continue with your mistake, expecting God to do the magical things for you. So one must take the responsibility. Meditating does not take away the responsibility from our hands. Neither it is there to change the destiny once and forever. It teaches us how to go through it, how to sail through it without much hassles. But if you remain a whining person, why this, why that, then even when God is rubbing shoulder with you, you'll still be unhappy.
So someone could be doing this practice, this meditation, and still be unhappy because of their own personal choices.
Exactly. But if you are really meditating properly, with the right attitude, then it will make us wiser. It will help us discriminate future choices or the choices that I can make in the now. A person who meditates, first requirement would be to understand what is good for me and what should I avoid, which is bad. Then there is another scenario, whether what I am going through now, is it a result of something in the past, or am I causing something now? You see, I should be able to differentiate that what I'm going through now, is it a result or consequence of the past, or am I creating the new future out of this? It's easy to pull away yourself once you realize that I am creating new future. It's easy to withdraw. But when you see that, oh, I am going to the past, I have done something knowingly, I made wrong choices, that cannot be undone. See. I can, through proper attitude, remove the impact, emotional baggage of it once I make a resolution that I will not do this again. That should end the story. But you expect your boss to change and be nice and compassionate to you, then that's a very complex situation, then you see. If you think your life depends on your boss behavior and your wife's behavior to you, or your, vice versa, or how family affects you, or the work environment affects you, it's too complex actually. So we try to maintain simplicity as much as possible. We try to do our best at work, giving our best.
So let's say your boss comes in and is not so nice.
Well, last time we discussed, I ran few pharmacies in New York City. For me, it was very difficult to get rid of an employee who is very productive. I would beg that person, please don't leave me. Even if it costed me tons of money, and say, oh, okay, you want 1 month vacation, take a month vacation, but don't leave me. Because you have seen the value addition by that person's presence. But there are times I would wish that person would never show up again. There are individuals who would just pretend to be working. But there are individuals who are so good, they become indispensable part of your organization because how they work, the attitude they carry with themselves. Why would I force them to say, even for me to say, you better do this work by tomorrow morning or else? No, that will not be done, see. Because you know the value of that person. So one has to become so indispensable by becoming so efficient in your work. If you're not efficient in your work, then everybody will become your enemy, including your boss. Even simple things like, even at home, your children or your spouse request you bring this home and you forget. Fine. Second day, you forget again. What do? You say, oh, you're not so efficient. It's not that you want to get rid of husband or as an enemy, or you take a revenge, I will not cook for you. No, nothing of that sort. But you see, the trouble starts there, friction starts there when people become less efficient. So efficiency is the key. And meditation is one thing that heightens your conscience. Meditation is when you close your eyes and face yourself and you face your conscience. How many times would you say to yourself, sorry, next time I'll bring milk home when my wife says so? Or as an employee, how many times you're going to create excuses to your boss? So one has to become efficient, more and more efficient, instead of blaming others. My boss is like this, or my family situation is like this. To learn to take the responsibility, try to become smarter and better than others.
Stop the cycle when you're on a sort of an addictive cycle.
Well, meditation is the only way. You see, but if you have already decided that I don't have time, But meditation is the tool where it will help you, navigate through the busy schedule. The time that you would take in completing one task and spend 8 hours. When you meditate, I think it may take even hardly half hour or 1 hour to solve one problem. Because it guides you, your conscience, your mind, everything guides you. So you'll have more and more time, even though it may seem that you don't have half hour or 15 minutes to meditate, but you become more efficient. Because this meditative state, which continues even after 15 minutes of meditation, makes all the difference. It's like, when you play guitar or you play a musical instrument, initially, what do? You fine tune it. After fine tuning it, you can go on playing it until it is ready, demanding one more tune up. Our mind is also like that. Once you have tuned it up, it goes on for as long as it can, and then again another tuning is required. So this tuning is done through meditation. So you can play out your thoughts properly. And I like to share this beautiful example from James Allen, his very lovely book, As a Man Thinketh. Very profound. He gives an example. He said, look at the forest. How the forest came into being. Seeds just spread out all around. See, just bees ate them and defecated, trees were grown. There was no control over how these seeds were spread. There's a chaotic spread. There is no planned seeding or no planned way of plantation. That's what forest is. But if you are a great gardener, you can choose the proper seeds. You will say, okay, I'd be able to plant flowers here, rose here, lotus there, jasmine there. Then you'll be able to plant fruit somewhere, fruit trees somewhere, in a different pattern, see? You can create a beautiful garden if you are an expert gardener. Now compare these seeds with our thoughts. If you cannot control or regulate your thoughts, the outcome of thoughts will be chaotic jungle, chaotic forest, chaotic actions. Consequences will be also like that, unpredictable. But if you have planned properly like the gardener, which seed will go where, which plant will go where, how to execute my thoughts properly, filter unnecessary thoughts, and stick to the most essential one, then you'll be able to create a beautiful garden of beautiful thoughts, resulting good, actions, and then favorable results. I've seen also one thing, let's see. There are three kinds of individuals. Imagine for a moment a foolish guy who makes a mistake and yet doesn't understand that he made a mistake. He's so foolish, stupid, you can say. Committed a mistake, but he still didn't get it yet. Then the other guys are there who are a bit smarter. They're doing something, and while doing something, they realize, oh, I'm committing a mistake. But what the heck? I've started it, let me finish it. But there is another kind of a guy, he realizes that I'm making a mistake, let me stop it. And a person who is more awakened, even before he executes the work, through his thought process, he realizes that the result of what I'm going to do next is not going to be right. So he will not even start the work. You see how much time you save if your mind is clear.
So it goes back to what you had said originally is really thinking before you act. Thinking she, she has a pattern of working in a particular way.
It will help. Once you start the process, it will help. She has to start it somewhere.
Mm,
And we have this process also where we get rid of our old patterns. The process, we call it cleaning. Every evening we sit down and do our cleaning. That will prevent us from forming new patterns. Old patterns are there, but with daily learnings becoming more efficient, we are able to let go of them. See,
hmm
when you become meditative, we'll realize that these patterns don't work anymore. If I had to become a new, better me, I have to let go of my old me. And when you have to let go of your old me, you have to come out of your comfort zone.
mm mm.
That's the only problem with change, you see. Who would like to come out of comfort zone? Very rare. Unless the motivational factor is greater than your comfort zone. Let her just start meditation and let her not think of anything else, actually. Let her spend one weekend with you and you work with her.
mm.
Just half-hour meditation in the morning and teach her how to do the cleaning. That should help. Within one week, you'll see a big difference in her life
mm
if she's really sincere about it.
mm mm. So one thing that I've noticed in the States, I'm sure the same thing is happening in India, is this constant moving around fast. How does one learn to go slow?
That should teach you. Your heart will address this issue very well. You have to make a choice whether I belong to such an organization that demands my activity to this level. This is also your choice, no? To have two phones on 2 ears and that's your choice too. Who made that choice? You made it. You can't blame the organization. I think we are heading into a very complicated uh, situation actually. Um, but does that person really want to change? Or is it CJ Lu who is requesting the change in this person? you know, however well you may be meaning, however well we may be meaning that this person is going crazy with such a lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing we can do about it.
Mm.
Even if that be your very closest person in your life, lecturing won't help. Motivation will also not help. That person has to get it.
Mm. So it's about our choice. Here in the States, one of the most horrible things is there's an opioid epidemic. I was talking to a dear friend of mine whose brother is hooked to opioids. How does one choose when you're at the mercy of some drug?
See, drug doesn't have a gun with it. Take me in. Drug doesn't claim that, see. It's you who's provoking it. But anyway, we have to understand why a person chooses to take drugs, first of all. What makes them do it? Yeah, and there are drug pushers, drug peddlers, who would initially give you for nothing. And then slowly you're hooked on it, you see. And all this starts with one inner craving we all have. You want to shift in your consciousness. You want to forget your pain.
Mm-hmm.
You want to forget your guilt. You say, okay, let me get rid of this pain by taking opiates. And I want to be pain free. It's okay. It's a natural inclination, but through a wrong substance. They want to shift their consciousness and forget about their guilt, bad things they must have done somewhere. But again, depending on a substance that is going to spoil your consciousness once and for all. So, but deep down, they're all good-hearted people, very good-hearted people. They want to forget pain. They want to forget that inflicted guilt upon themselves, something that have done, and they have a remorse for it. And they say, okay, let me let go of this. Maybe this drug will help me. So that's how they start in the first place, and they get hooked on it. To how to get out of it is again a tricky business. It's very, very, very difficult actually. Alcohol, similar problems. As far as it's possible, how to prevent the family member from taking it, to provide the environment so that they don't attempt it in the first place. That's it's like a vaccination. Vaccination is considered to be the great field where you prevent disease before it can come to you. See, I have seen children taking to drugs because parents are fighting. Right? You ask them, why are you taking that? Oh, I'm tired of seeing my parents fighting. I'd like to forget it. I like to punish them. That's one way. Second, there is some sort of a pressure on them. Oh, my parents would like me to do this. So much of pressure is there. They end up doing it. Peer pressure is also there. There's so many factors contributing to various kinds of addiction. I wish I can help. There are ways, though. If the person can be patient, parents can be a little bit tolerant in nature, we can help them case by case basis. I recommend you one technique. For example, if you're hooked on some substance, let's say a cigarette, or alcohol, or chili powder.
Okay.
Or you may be hooked on to some chocolates. So I must have these chocolates after every lunch or dinner. See? So what do? There are easier methods also. Try it. If it works, it's fine. If it doesn't work, you're not losing anything. Okay. Take example of alcohol or a drug that you consume by mouth or any drug. Keep it on mentally. I don't say physically. Actual substance need not be kept on the tip of the tongue. But imagine that the chili powder that you want to get rid of, or the alcohol, those habits you want to get rid of, just imagine that it is on your tongue.
Okay.
And saturate the entire mouth with the taste of it.
Okay.
And that's all. Do it for a few days, and you should be able to get rid of it.
You mean what?
It can be a stranger who is in a hospital who likes to get rid of this addiction. Teach him this technique. Let him adopt this method for 2 minutes. Let him saturate his mouth with imaginary taste in his mouth of a substance that is to be get rid of, the habit to be get rid of. No, we're not meditating to get rid of the addiction. It is just a mental imagination we are portraying, inflicting on ourselves to get rid of the other addictive habit. Thinking, it's only for a minute.
Okay.
Only for 1 minute, imaginary chocolate is kept in your mouth.
Okay.
You try it and let me know after next time. You'll save a lot of money.
So periodically just think about it and then it will go away. Then the addiction to it will go away. When someone uses a heartfulness practice, what is the end goal?
Well, the end goal can never be understood, or it's not a graspable thing. You can't grasp the end goal. You see. it's something that unfolds on our journey as we move on.
Mm.
See, in the beginning, when I start when I started this practice, I had no goal in my life.
Mm.
Only thing was that I wanted to become a monk and move around all over India and learn something from various cultures
Mm-hmm.
and somehow transform myself with the blessings of elders whom I would be meeting. But then the idea changed. A lady who was a preceptor, she argued with me. She says, if God is everywhere, why do you need to go everywhere?
Mm. Mm.
He's in your home too. He's in your heart as well. And I want to become a monk, right? Monk means to become a celibate.
Mm-hmm.
And she argued and she says, my master says so. And she quoted him that God was not a fool to create two sexes if one was enough.
Mm.
Right? So everything has a purpose in the creation. Don't outsmart God. And many people come, they have lost peace of mind. Somehow they're looking for something they're looking for. Many times people come, they come and say, we don't know what I'm looking for. But my heart is craving for something. They have no clue about their search, but they are thirsty for something. See?
Mm-hmm.
And then some idea comes to them, oh, okay, after meditation, I feel so peaceful about it. And then after a few months, they come back, the goal changes afterwards. See? And when you read our literature, slowly and slowly you will see, yes, as you understand more and more of this practice, your goal will also change.
Mm.
So, what's your goal?
My goal at the moment is to share what has been gifted to me. I like to share with one and all.
Mm.
That everyone be happy and living in harmony, respecting each other. But the job ahead of us is tremendous job, see. Earlier, my legs used to be shaky and very, you know, not very confident whether I'll be able to achieve this or not. And I look at myself and my abilities. I'm not a man of a lot of confidence. But I have a lot of confidence in my master that having him with me, it is possible. That's all. I'm thriving on his shoulders.
Mm. It's beautiful. How did you develop that faith?
I think it was there from day one.
Mm.
Moment I had the first sitting with that lady, she said, my master will give you sitting. And I sat with her. And I was gone. Within just moments, she says, please start meditation. I was lifted up, tumbled down, and gone, zoop, out.
Mm.
And somewhere in the middle, I saw another great personality of India, Ramakrishna Paramhans. And he came with a golden glow, and he blessed me with his left hand. Though I'm raising a right hand, he blessed me with his left hand, and disappeared after that. And in that moment, I realized that I'm on a right track, right path. Then I was completely gone after that.
Mm.
And that preceptor, the trainer, she touched me. She said, I'm telling you that's all. Meaning, the sitting is over and you're not out. Opening your eyes. But she was very happy. She was happy to see that I was completely gone and she had to wake me up.
Mm.
So that was the moment when I had instantly developed faith in this old man.
Mm.
That he could do a lot of things. We never met. At that moment, we had not met each other, nor have I heard of him. Like some of the, individuals who meditated with you on those at 7:30, and one or two comments made me very happy also that they were gone also. They felt very nice, they felt very peaceful, which is good. That should give them a confidence that yes, there is something in it. That experience should make them explore it further instead of just sitting quietly on the treasure. Explore it, venture it. What is beyond this treasure? If transmission is so good, imagine source of transmission.
And I don't want to become a spiritual shopper where you're doing this, you're doing that.
I don't blame others. Let us say if you had a guru in your past, or if you have a guru now, there is no conflict. Take his services. That's not a problem. Have a belief in him, adore him, revere him, worship him. But you can always receive our transmission, no problem. Well, you know it in your heart what is good for you.
Of the followers in your audience, and I think in India is people try one thing and they stick with it for a very, very long time.
Well, India is also very complicated. No, really. The old rituals are there. There are so many gods here, so many temples, so many philosophical systems are there. Father is doing something, mother is doing something else, grandfather is doing something else. All kinds of things in the same house is happening.
But is there a benefit to sticking with one?
Always. See, if you have $1 million and you like to invest, after 2 years, you know how much you made or how much you lost. If you invest in another business, it may be better, with better returns. Why would you invest in the previous business? Consider spiritual investment, your energy, your heart. Spiritual resources are more, I would say, valuable. They are more value, and we have to be very careful how we invest our spiritual wealth. Emotional energy into something.
So if we invest.
Well, once you find the right path, right company, invest all that you have, gamble your whole life into it. But your heart must agree first that yes, this is the path. Once you have it, you can go all out for it. Everything or nothing.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the audience and listening and participating. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you, and hope to see you soon.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show and would love your support in any way by giving me comments below or to subscribe to the show or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.